Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we might. But maybe we do wanna switch from exploits, since also the whole thing started watermarking stuff now too.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, I'm just
Okay.
doing 4 things here. Mystery. Okay. Oh, I think we are live. Oops.
Woohoo!
Hey, yeah, again. We're having some troubles
Technical difficulties.
right here in River City.
And that starts with P and that rhymes with poo.
That's not.
How does it go?
I say we got trouble right here in River City with a capital T, which rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
You surely got trouble right here in River City.
That is the whitest of white people rap.
Yes.
Wes!
Hello.
Woohoo!
Looking totally different.
Sarah!
Yeah, I mean it's a different angle, different light. Oh, we don't have the ring light.
But there's plenty of sunlight.
Yes.
So excited to see friends. Yay.
Hooray.
And my brother.
Are you saying your brother's not your friend?
You know what I mean? Don't do that.
Release my friends and Zoidberg.
What? Nora is here.
Well, hello.
How cool is that? I don't think I've ever seen you at a live stream before.
Yeah.
Nora's a big time filmmaker person.
I remember her. We watched a couple of her videos together a long time ago. I haven't seen any of her stuff.
Yeah, she even did one of my old style podcasts where we recorded it separately and then edited it together.
Yes.
We should do an actual podcast where we actually talk in real time someday. That would be cool. And Gaia says she's happy to see other people too. Then I don't have to be the Alleinunterhalter. Alleinunterhalter. Yes. I said that really badly.
Alleinunterhalter.
Alleinunterhalter. That's just a really fun word to say.
You can fall asleep.
Yeah.
Are we that boring?
Oh man.
Just shifting a bit over this way.
Sarah says, "How are you? We are tired, but it's fun to talk to people, and that gives energy."
Yes, which is her special fähigkeit? What, falling asleep, or entertaining and communicating?
Yeah.
Or both?
I love
falling asleep in an entertaining way.
Podcasts are such a great opportunity and excuse to just have a good conversation.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Noor speaks German because of living in Germany for school. Ha! Didn't expect that, Gaia.
Oh, falling asleep during our lives.
Mom says hi too. Hi, Mama.
Wow.
It's everyone and my mom is on.
Yeah.
Sarah says, I think you would make a great podcast. I love what you talk about. Thanks. I mean, I do kind of consider my conversations on this channel to be podcasts.
Yeah, it's a video podcast.
Yeah. So this channel is a hybrid of 3 things, although we don't really hype up the live streams. It's still a hybrid of live streams, vlogs, and podcasts.
Beautiful, exciting lives.
Please don't skip words from my comments, Morton.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, but I showed Gaia, but nobody else was around, so I can show again. There's a bit of a bump. Wait, I'll have to wait until I see what actually.
A bit of a bump.
A bit of a bump. 16 weeks tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yes. So I'm sort of getting energy back, but sort of not. But it's something that I wanted to talk about today that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I feel like I don't know if I've trained myself to do it or if it's just what my brain needs, but if I don't say from 9 to 9:30, from 10 to 10:15 I'm doing this, I will just only do one thing the whole day.
Yeah.
Like I have to be so, but it doesn't feel like being strict. It actually feels like I don't have to decide what I should do.
Yeah.
Like having the list is just gives me a way to know, okay, I'm gonna do the things that I want to do today. I'm gonna not just edit, I'm also gonna read a little bit, I'm gonna write a little bit, I'm gonna do some planning towards something. So that's what I did today.
Very cool. Oh, Noor apparently was not aware that we were expecting.
Well, thank you, Noor. Yes, I've uploaded a few videos about it, but I don't watch everyone's videos. Even there's like nobody who I watch all of their videos.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's just
you can't watch everything.
No, and there's just only so many hours in the day.
Like I wonder how many there's got to be thousands of hours of uploaded to YouTube every day.
Oh, no. Thousands of hours every minute. This is all over the world.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts how huge YouTube is and how many people are on it at any given time.
Yeah.
Like, there are enough professional YouTubers that if all of them supported each other, they would have a living.
Yeah.
That's not even to say any of the non-creators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how is it with you? I know that it doesn't work for you to time yourself to things. You operate more in a this is what I absolutely have to do at this second.
Well, this is the thing. When someone else sets the schedule for me and is relying on it, I can do it. But if I try to set a strict schedule for myself, I'm like there was this meme I saw or a comic I saw a long time ago that just really stuck with me. That was just yeah, it's like I try to set myself deadlines, but then I'm like, I know the guy who made that rule. He's a total pushover.
Yeah, like I love you, but I'm really glad that we don't have to work together anymore, 24/7, because it often didn't work when I made a plan. Like I would make a plan, and you'd be like, actually, I'm gonna do this. And I'd be like, fine, why do I even bother? Okay, I said, I did not expect Noor to speak German, but I hope that someone would be able to make sense from my mumbled speech in spite of my disability to find the proper English words immediately. Yes, Gaia speaking in this perfectly fluent, well-structured way. It's always the people that are the most talented with languages that call themselves bad at it.
Yeah, no, but this is the thing. That's such a that joke has been done so many times of the person going, "My apologies for my insufficient proficiency in your beautiful language," and then the native English speaking going, "Oh, well, yeah, sure."
Lol, what?
And Noor says she did not know what Unterhalter was, but learned a new word today.
Talk about another incredibly talented multilingual person. Because Noor's from Jordan.
Yes.
I don't remember what your mother tongue is, but I want to say is it Arabic? I want to say Arabic. So absolutely fluent in Arabic and English. Not too shabby. You probably got a few more because I wouldn't be surprised. Gaya said, I think you mostly just use it in allein unterhalte, but I'm so glad that I could teach you a little something. Yeah, that's the spirit. But yeah, I try to help you, remind you about things that you ask me to remind you of, but not cross over into nagging territory.
Yes.
Because it doesn't help anybody.
If I say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. You don't have to remind me every single month.
I was right. It is Arabic.
Hooray.
I love the moments that Noor has in her videos of just capturing fun moments with friends and with the subtitles and all that fun stuff.
But with this conversation with languages, we need to brush off our German a bit.
We do, but I'm not ready to announce why yet.
Yes, okay.
Gaya said, I think it's so cool how you say allein unterhalte with an absolutely adorable Swedish accent. Do I really have a Swedish accent?
Wait, which one of us?
Which one of us?
Oh, her. Yeah, you.
What? I have a Swedish accent in that?
I guess a little bit now. Just right there, because when you weren't quite, prepared for German.
Yeah, but I say it with an absolutely flawless accent. Allein unterhalte. That's flawless.
Allein unterhalte.
That is, you would think that I was German if you closed your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had an accent in my life. Especially not in French.
Ouais, c'est vrai ça.
I say it like Astrid Lindgren. Mom's is like Astrid Lindgren.
Hey. Being compared to Astrid Lindgren in any context should be considered a compliment.
Yes. Sarah says, that was a big teaser.
Yeah.
So, I've been watching this show on Netflix called Keep Sweet. Have you heard of it? Have you watched it? Let me know. I want to hear.
It's not as fluffy as it sounds. Like, I haven't watched it, but I know what it is, so I feel confident in saying that the title sounds fluffy. It is not.
Holy shlomoly. It's about the fundamentalist LDS, Latter-day Saints cult. It's a straight up cult.
Yes. It's like one of them, because like I know that they've splintered and several times.
It's a straight up sex cult. Oh, Nora's watched it, and Sarah's not seen it on the suggestions. Ew. I hate Warren Jeffs so much. So much. There was a time when I would have been like, I'm not supposed to hate anybody. Hate is bad. I freaking hate this guy. It feels good to say it. I wish him nothing but bad, Martin.
But the hate leads to the dark side.
I'm already there, baby. Nor says, a German accent is so hard to do for some reason. Yeah. And Kia says, I said German stuff with a Swedish accent repeatedly. Please believe me immediately. Okay, but do we sing in a German accent? We're gonna take a quick singing break.
Right.
Claudia, du bist mir zu schön, um wahr zu sein, aber du stehst genau für so eine Frau,
wär ich der richtige Mann
für meinen Claudia. Isn't that even sung with a Kölsch accent?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're from Cologne, so I don't think we're perfect for the most part.
Oh wait,
and that's been so long.
That was as long ago as Manchmal, aber nur manchmal.
Oh, no, yeah. But otherwise, no, but it's better to do Männer sind Schweine.
That's men are pigs.
Yes.
But there was other one. Oh, Herr, bitte
Gib mir meine Sprache zurück. Ich sehne mich nach Frieden und ein kleines bisschen Glück. Lass uns noch ein Wort verstehen in dieser schweren Zeit. Öffne unsere Herzen, mach die Birne weit.
Ich bin noch
Bahnhof gerannt. Ich bin nur ein little bit too late. Auf meinen neuen Swatch was schon kurz vor after 8. Yeah.
She said 1 or 2 words were neither German nor Swedish. Or maybe they were Kölsch.
Or maybe they were the words that were supposed to be with the Kölsch and that we didn't remember correctly.
It's so fun how it's like, every 3-ish years we remember those songs and see how much we can still sing of them.
Yep. Mach das Radio an und dreh richtig laut auf. Wir fahren uns den Regen der Sonne entgegen.
Wow. I'm always amazed by Morton's memory. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed that German intermission, German singing intermission. On to the show.
What show?
The show.
This is the part of the show where
Laddie comes out and sings a city song.
Oh wait, or is that the part we just did?
I guess that was the part that we just did. Keep sweet. Gay is amazed and in awe of both of us. Wow, I hugged you and my entire neck cracked.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That happened. Keep sweet. You're welcome for this wonderful German present. Keep sweet is what women are told. Do you know? Never have any anger. Never show any anger. Just always be nice and hold it all inside.
Ugh.
And they're continually. Everybody is. Ooh, Andreas is here. Cool. Everyone is continually held in a state of fear of losing their salvation. And obedience is this very thin thread in just following every single whim of that evil, evil, evil man.
Yep.
He's so sick. Do you ever watch documentaries on the Netflix, Andreas? I was just I've been watching Keep Sweet and oh man, but it's hard. But it feels like this is their stories deserve to be told. The truth needs to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of my passion with my podcasts is giving people an opportunity to share their stories. And after my next 2 conversations, one of them is with Pastor Jeff. I don't even remember what we talked about. This was in March. This was the beginning of March.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
But it's the right time to release it now.
Yeah, it's June, Pride Month. But I'm looking forward to hearing our conversation because it's this is all new to me. And this other really cool guy that I connected with, that we just had so much in common and it was a vibe. I really liked him, but I don't really remember what we talked about. Ooh, Sarah's not exhausted. That's great.
Hooray.
Ooh, Andreas is watching Moonshiners. Sounds like fun.
Know nothing about it.
Know nothing about it, but it sounds like fun. What's it like, Sarah, to not be exhausted?
I was gonna say, I remember when I wasn't exhausted, but then I realized, no, I don't.
I was gonna say, even before CP, you were going to activities every day and riding your bike and walking everywhere. And
it was also, I was a teenager who regularly didn't go to bed until 1 in the morning. So
asks, what would you suggest to help those facing alienation from fundamentalist family members and concern for their well-being? That's a big ask, but curious if you had any ideas.
Ooh.
Ooh. For those facing alienation, just welcoming them into your space.
But if you were the one facing alienation,
facing alienation,
like I feel now I am, a third party in this. I am, sort of observing this slightly from the outside, but I think that there comes a point where you just have to make a sort of you have to just make a balance sheet of are are these people actually worth my time and effort, which is a horrible thing to have to do.
Is my energy completely drained? Do I hate my life after being around them?
Yeah, but it's a horrible thing to do because often you still care for these people, and they might still be important to you, but there also comes a point where you just have to go it is no longer healthy for me to care what these people think, and if they're going to keep pushing the things that they think onto me, when the only thing I get out of those things is heartbreak, then there might be a time that comes, and I hope that it doesn't, but it can come a time where you just have to cut off those channels of communication, and that sucks.
Yeah, but when you've laid out your requests and your boundaries and they're not being listened to, and every encounter is just hurting, it's not worth it. I would be the first person to tell someone, get out of an abusive marriage.
Yes.
Don't talk to your parents anymore if they're hurting you and not acknowledging you for who you are every single time.
And if you're seeing someone else stuck in that situation, and who might not have the strength or the ability to get out of there, then just being supportive in any way that you can, I want to say ask them what their needs are, but also try and figure out, because a lot of people are very bad at articulating their needs. So it's just try and figure out, get to know that person as well as you can to understand what in their life is causing them pain and stress, and do what you can to balance that out.
One of the girls who got out of the cult, she was just talking about how hard it was on the other side. She didn't know any of the cultural references.
Yeah.
She just felt like an absolute idiot. That's something that I just clicked in me just now, is when I went to Germany, my German was so basic, if even basic, in the very beginning. Anytime I would think of some cultural reference, they wouldn't get it. They didn't grow up in the same TV shows and cartoons and stuff.
And that still happens. You start talking about, well, yeah, but it's when you start talking about someone, it's well, she was the mom on the sitcom that everyone watched. And I was like, everyone in America.
Yeah. So I think even paring down social references could really help someone that's getting out of something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did we miss? Andreas was at a church board meeting. Ooh, Pursuit of Momming's here. That's Chrissy. I remembered your name this time. Nor said, I felt really bad about the kids, especially, who were just torn and sent right and left to different places. Yeah, he would just, the prophet, he would just, reassign families. No, you're not married to her anymore. She's going to be married to him, and his children are not going to be his children anymore. He would just rip families apart right and left.
Oh, goodness.
Sarah says, it really is so hard to set those boundaries when it means you just have to accept being rejected by those you love.
Yeah. But it is like it is really hard. But then it's also important to remember that like
Love shouldn't hurt so
yes,
much.
that at that point you have already been rejected. If they do not care to know your boundaries and respect them, then
Mm-hmm.
then then they have already rejected who you are.
Yeah.
They just haven't made it explicit.
And like, for example, if there was a family member that like every time we went over to their house, they were gonna try to get my kids kind of away from us and say like, you're bad sinners and you deserve hell.
Yeah.
You know, like I would not stand for that. Like, you do not talk to my kids like that. I don't care how much you believe in those concepts.
Mm.
I don't want my 5-year-olds obsessed in despair about eternal suffering.
Yeah.
And if they wouldn't respect that, then I would say we're not coming over anymore.
Yeah.
Until you can decide to respect my wishes.
Yeah. It's like, and it doesn't even have to be anything like that serious. It's just like, if, I mean, especially like with having children, if someone like repeatedly ignored what we said we want for our children, like we were so upset when the kids were little and we went to church and
That
someone
cake.
just gave them cake.
They asked if they could give them cake, and we said no, and she still gave them cake.
And it
They
was
were
like
babies.
It's like, no, like they are too small to eat sugar. We were very clear about that, and they still gave them cake, and yeah, that was very upsetting to us. And it's like, we would not want them to be around that person because that person disrespected our rules, like the rules that we had set for our children.
Yeah, they're like, oh, just a little piece.
Yeah.
Some people.
Yes.
So Nora said she has to go. It was really nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for hanging out. Gia said, I just listened to an American audiobook. Well, in German, actually, but of American origin descent. I found it so fun and interesting how it's so special that the main character sometimes...
Sometimes what?
Oh, there's suspense. Sometimes what?
And Smoklessa, which is...
Hey, who's that?
That wasn't that he used to live close to here, and then he moved back to the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yes, right. That's who you are. Which is funny because Smoklessa is also the name of a band here in Gotland, which I think that might be where he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like but it's not the band who are here.
Okay. Here's the rest of the story. The main character sometimes walked 2 to 4 kilometers, for example, to work, and everybody felt that she always needed to be picked up by car. Yeah, that's kind of a long distance. I would appreciate a ride for that far.
Yeah, but it's also the thing that in America, most American cities are designed to be
cars.
hostile for pedestrians.
It's true.
Like, it's crazy what just a few decisions made by politicians who may have been heavily encouraged by certain industry representatives have changed just the culture of there are places you couldn't walk to the mall in Ogden. There is pretty much nowhere to cross the main road that goes right outside the mall.
That's true.
You can't walk to the mall.
That intersection is nuts.
Yeah, if you are at the mall and you want to, and then you decide you want to go grab a bite to eat at the restaurant that's on across the street from the mall, you would have to get in your car to cross the street because there is no safe place to walk across it.
It's like when you're dealing with freeways and cars are zooming past 100 kilometers an hour, it's just terrifying.
Yeah.
Not the band. I don't think they have YouTube accounts.
Yes.
Not as cool as you.
If if they ever did want to have a YouTube presence, which is unlikely because I mean,
They're
old.
a bunch of boomer Swedes.
Yes, and their whole shtick is that we're
the farmers.
Yeah, we're from like the countryside. Yeah.
Yeah, not like those city slickers. Gia said, it was a great audiobook, but in Germany it would be a normal walking distance, and if you started walking in the rain, you would just finish the walk.
Mm.
Oh, Sarah misses living in a town where she could walk and bike everywhere. And Chrissy says, yes, walking around here is terrible, especially in my area. They probably did it to force people to buy cars. Yep, that's exactly what it was. To force people to buy cars back when they started being mass-produced. Yep.
And it's also like, there's a lot of things about, like, unfortunately, like, direct, like, racism things.
We'll draw the lines here, and so it's really clear that this is where the poor people are.
Like
we'll make them poor by putting them in this area.
Yeah, when I learned the fact that, like, the expression being born on the wrong side of the tracks,
they built those
freaking
tracks.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, no, it really was like, hey, okay, all the poor people live over here, and the good schools and hospitals are over here. So let's just put a railroad track with no pedestrian crossings between those two areas, and then all of the people who can't afford cars can't go to those schools and hospitals. So all of us nice people can have them to ourselves. Yeah.
They've done so much of that line. Oh, it's in the bedroom on the chair.
Okay, so it's not all the way out in the garage.
Political lines designed to get the right people to win, even if it doesn't represent most of the people who live in the area.
Oh, the gerrymandering?
Gerrymandering, yeah. And Chrissy says, walking around here is terrible, especially in my area. They probably did it. Yeah, sorry, I read that comment. And Sarah says, mostly I just feel unsafe to do so now because I don't live in the best neighborhood. Yeah, I hear that. My neighborhood wasn't great. I think one time we kind of witnessed a drug deal happening like the one house over. And one time I was like, Mom, let me walk with a friend over to the library. And she's like, it's not a very good neighborhood. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm walking with a friend. And then I'd barely crossed the street. And then this guy leaned way out and was driving real slow and leaned out of his car and said, hey, baby, just wait 5 more years and then I'll give you love.
Oh, yeah. Presumably that reminds me of food deserts that I just learned about. Areas that don't have access to grocery stores or healthy food. Yeah, that's... Yeah, like, and again, and it's for the most part, it's people who can't get out of there. Like, I heard, like, that was... Like, oh, okay, I mean, we're deep in political stuff now. One of the way too many mass shootings that happened recently was... I can't even remember which one it was because there were, like, so many. But I read about... They talked about... It was specifically the only grocery store in a predominantly black neighborhood that was targeted. And it was like people were talking about how they had, for the longest time, not had a store in that neighborhood, and it had been it was the one in Buffalo, yeah. And then they had worked really hard to get a grocery store into there, and it had sort of become like a community hub and a safe place for these people, and then now it no longer feels safe. It was like,
oh man, Andreas, that pisses me off so much. Benches made so homeless people can't sleep on them.
Yeah.
There's a special spot in hell for people who design stuff like that.
Yes. Oh, it was a food bank even. Oh, I hadn't realized that. Right, okay. Right. Oh, man, that's even worse.
Oh. Yeah, Sarah nailed it. We are stuck in a cult of bureaucracy. Cult of capitalism.
Yep.
Where the middle class are taught to resent the lower class rather than the billionaires that control everything.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
There is no ethical way to become a billionaire.
None whatsoever. Nobody deserves it. Nobody earns it. Eat the rich.
Yes. Like, I am of the opinion that if you have $100 million, there is absolutely nothing more you need money for.
No. Like, no, you don't need a 7th yacht. No. There should be a cap. There should be a cap, and you should get, what was it, like, you should get a plaque saying, congratulations, you're rich.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It was oh man, Chrissy's friend's family lives there in Buffalo. Yeah. I listened to this thing sometime back that when it comes to tax evasion, they won't even target the richest of the rich because it's so much red tape and they can afford the best lawyers and blah blah blah. So they'll go to the IRS will go to the people like a few steps below them.
Yeah. Right, because doing a full, like, if you were going to do a full, like, what do you call that, audit of, like, Amazon, like, that would literally take a decade, because they have so many accounts, and so, it's like, there's so much stuff, like, there's so much shady stuff everywhere.
Amazon, Google, like, these guys, like, Zuckerberg, like, they own too much.
Yeah.
It's too creepy. But, oh man, it was just really sad that their hearts were in the right place. Okay, so when they started to gather information on the FLDS ranch, where people were, and when they heard that kids were in danger, underage kids were being forced to marry, what they did was they just ran in there, guns blazing, and they just took 415 little kids away from their families.
Yeah. And
they just created this perfect opportunity for Jeff Warren's, whatever his name is, Warren Jeffs, to just turn it into this big, huge media outcry, especially targeted the most emotional, best performing women. And like, give us our children back. We just want to be a family. Like, of course you want to be a family, but those kids in a very few years are going to be molested off to much older men.
Yeah. The Swedish tax agency won a case against a very rich bioscientist entrepreneur.
Nice. Oh, bioscience. Would it be bioscience? The people who price gouge, like, life-saving medications and stuff?
I mean, they are absolutely that stuff too. He's in debt for 900 million kroner back taxes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, was that I read about that Boris Becker, former tennis superstar, is, like, in prison in the UK now for tax evasion. Like, he declared bankruptcy, and then they discovered that he had a secret bank account with 28 million pounds in it. And
oh gosh, yeah. That makes me think of all those churches that took COVID help. With those checks to help keep things moving. What were they called again? Whatever it's called, while they were still running church and still getting tithes and everything. Yeah. Just in general, so greedy. It's just a big business.
Like, a lot, yeah. Like, that's another thing that we're like.
Tax churches who are political.
Or just tax. Yeah.
Take away their tax deductible status as soon as they influence politics.
Yeah.
100,000%.
Or just like tax churches that are making a profit. Just like it's that simple. Like a church should not be a profitable company. Like if you are running a church in a way that like has a has a significant profit margin, then it is no longer uh, then it is a company and should be taxed as such. Like it's not harder than that, in my opinion. I even heard churches in the U.S. that use auto-tune on worship leaders. Yeah,
why am I not surprised?
Yeah, not surprised in the slightest.
It's just a big old concert.
Yeah.
Very carefully orchestrated to elicit emotional responses.
Yep.
Just, I kind of feel like this conversation is like the kind of conversation that you would have at like 3 a.m, having a sleepover, where you're kind of like both in your own world, staring up with your eyes closed, just like trying to solve all the world's problems.
Yeah. So it's a difficult line because there's a cost to run the church. As the church grows, it's reasonable to increase the quality of the service offered to the congregants. Yeah, this is it. My church has a profit margin, but it's because we don't have someone employed at the moment. And that's like, it's about intentions, and that's my thing. Like if the church is set up in such a way that you can clearly see that the intent is that like the profit is an intent, like is a goal of its own, then I definitely feel that it should be taxed. And it's also just in general, like, just the idea that someone should like is getting people are getting rich offensively. Like I think it's okay to be comfortable. Like I think that I think that everyone should be comfortable. Yeah. Really, like I think
literally everyone. There should be no one that doesn't have comfort. Yeah.
But I feel like the pastor of a church should not be making more than twice of the income of the lowest income member of the church.
They should not be living in a mansion and having private security and luxury cars and $7,000 sneakers.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have the intent to have profit margins. We have a good room for concerts. Because then, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, yes, you can have like pursuits like that, but it's like, but then also to me it's also like, what does the church then do with the money?
Yeah.
If the money goes straight back into actually helping the community, like that, because that's the thing too. It's like, okay, yes, you can like make a profit, but then you need to go into like you need to find a way to like put as much of that money back into the.
Are you just a little club that meets every week? What are you doing to make the people around you think, wow, I'm glad they're there?
Yeah.
What are you doing to actually give the word Christian a good meaning when the word has been dragged through the mud for the past 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6 years? Actually, more than that.
Yeah.
But especially the last 6 years. Yeah. Chrissy says salary shouldn't be in the hundreds of thousands. There is a certain salary that's reasonable to support their whole family, and that also varies depending on the area they live in. But beyond that is excessive. Yep, 100%. Oh, they have an old maintenance-heavy building from 1886.
Yep.
So many of those old churches just need to die. And I don't mean like die like people should stop going. I just think too many old churches are just sucking money from congregants to keep the building going.
Yeah. And that's
not helping the people in the community. Yeah. It's just wasting.
And it's like, and then it seems like it really seems like it's better, like it was just like it might be better to have those churches go into the care of like some sort of cultural society and then have the donations and that. But yeah, now, and they said we don't, but I'm not sure what that was in response to. But but yeah, it's a struggle, like of of like finding that balance and using it your resources correctly, and and as with everything, like there are no easy answers to any of these things, like, and I think that is so much of what's like I feel like that is the number one thing that I see that is wrong with the world today is that if there isn't a clear and simple answer that solves everything, people don't try to solve anything.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Yeah, it must be hard to discern if it's more worthwhile to keep an old building going from an environmental sustainability standpoint versus starting fresh if it's legitimately more trouble than it's worth. Yeah,
I
it
remember
is.
one church that we'll never forget because they sold their building on purpose to rent a school because they just knew that it was a better way to handle their resources.
Yeah, they were like,
This building is sucking money that could be used to help people.
yeah, so we're like we can rent this space that's big enough for our church, like every Sunday and other times we need events, and then yeah, many
And
people don't realize how many unpaid hours pastors work.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
we had an inside track to that
yeah,
for many years as missionaries and how many unpaid hours we worked. Good grief.
yeah.
We were paid for so few of the hours we worked.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that was also because we were
Yeah.
like we were mostly paid in room and board.
Yeah.
So that it was.
It's just to say that we know.
Yeah.
And that's another problem is that they expect pastors to do literally everything.
Yep.
Counsel, visit, preach, teach, admonish. Always be happy, and the pastor's wife has to do everything and graciously and teach Sunday school and always look pretty and bake and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I saw this. Like I heard someone say once. It's like, okay, here's the thing: the main tasks of a pastor is teaching, ceremony, and administration, which are three very different areas of expertise. It's like if you get a pastor who does two of them well, like consider yourself blessed. It's like, but most of the time you will get a pastor who's really good at one of those things, and then and then the fact that we expect all pastors to be able to do all three of those things at all times is like it's ridiculous. Like, whoa.
And no matter how good and pure the intentions are of a person who starts, once people just give them power after power, after power, it ruins them. It's just, and then it's, oh, we got to protect the reputation of the pastor, so we're just gonna have to hush those people talking about abuse and slander them before anything they say comes back.
Yeah. And they said they're hoping to employ 3 people and they already have an administrator. Yeah, that's really what you need to do in order to for it to be a healthy work environment. But then most churches can't afford that, and it's just an impossible situation.
I know there has to be good churches out there, but I just feel so
disillusioned.
Way beyond disillusioned. I feel like repulsed at the idea of church anymore. So many people have been hurt and told to, oh, you just have to stay in that abusive marriage. Oh, you just have to stick through it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's worth saving.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is something that I have talked about a lot. Is like you can see that it's always been going in cycles of like, oh hey, the church has become complacent and fallen into this mindset, and then Martin Luther and all of his contemporaries came along to breathe some new life and try to get it in a better direction. And then eventually their churches became complacent, and then you had the Wesleys and you had all those people and their contemporaries who took the church in a new direction, and then and then eventually you need, and it's like, yeah, we need, like, we are about due for a new set of reformers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really
it was just never meant.
It
was never meant to be about the building ever. It was meant to be about encouraging and instructing and being together and building family.
Yeah.
For in a house, in a small group.
Yeah, it's like Jesus was like, okay, best size for actually, like, the best group size for discipleship is one teacher, 12, 12 others, like, for like tight discipleship, and then he had these larger groupings too for like other types of teaching. But it's like, no, you need small core groups, and that's what you need, and that's something that, like, has been, because, like, my sort of home church where I grew up is, it's not doing great, but they've really worked, because, like, they really were trying that. And this is also, like, I mean, they're out in the countryside is dying in general, so that's but yeah, and it's been so much, like, but like, focus on, we need to have small core groups. Like, it's good to have the church where we can gather for, like, teaching and events and worship together. It's like, but the actual work of the church and discipleship really needs to happen in smaller groups.
Christy says her old church was very much a community hub that they loved.
Yeah.
Oh, and Andres' church is in the very city center. That's cool. And
so they want to open up to reach, like, be more of an place of outreach and community. Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. It's not just abuse, it's also mental health. So many people that have been like, I'm struggling. Well, have you tried not being sad? Just pray. Just have more faith.
Yeah.
Like, people, it's like everybody who fits in the machine to keep it running is allowed to be there, and anyone who's going to slow the progress and be in the way is just pushed out.
Yeah. And I really feel like the whole thing that, yeah, I think we are near, like, that is the I'm like, these are the coal miners of, like, that's like the coal miners that the Wesleys reached out to. Like, that's sort of like those, that's our modern equivalent is, like, they're, and the homeless people that the Booths washed and brought in and such. Is like, yeah,
it's just really interesting. I remember talking to somebody who was a part of the Jesus movement in the 60s. That was like, it was so nice. There was so much love. You wanted to be there. Then moral majority type stuff started happening, and it became all legalistic and all about following the rules.
Yep.
And the love was just smushed out, just snuffed out.
Yeah. Definitely people that feel that if you're struggling with mental health, it's a spiritual battle caused by something you need to fix in your spiritual life, which is not biblical.
No.
Yeah, it's like
no.
The spiritual, like, I believe the spiritual can affect your mental health. Like, it absolutely can, but it is not the only or even the core issue. Like, very rarely is it that. And it's like, it should not be your default assumption.
And, like, neurodiversity is not something that is going to get healed. Yeah. It's a different kind of brain.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much talk, or like any disability, really.
Yeah.
It's so many people, like the people who live in Bethel. They are suffering. Anybody with a disability in Bethel is, like, accosted at all times, being prayed for.
Yes.
And they're like, "Stop it!"
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when someone came to Jesus. I don't. Yeah, it was a blind man, because she didn't remember. And people were like, so, he was born blind. Did he sin or did his parents sin? Like, what happened? And Jesus was like, stop it.
Stop it.
Like, like this is how God shows his grace and glory in all situations. In that this person too is seen and loved by God. That is the only, like, if there was a purpose and a reason for him to be this way, which is also like, sort of, he doesn't even, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but it's basically just like, it's to see that, God cares about everything, including things that are not quote unquote perfect.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
It's really interesting that this comes up because I brought it up, but it was what we were talking about in the Journeys meeting. That because one of the ladies, her children have autism, and we were talking about how it's just talked about so wrongly, and how it is a gift. Like, how dare people say that God didn't make that? Like, we're made in God's image, except for people that like this, that think differently or look differently.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a great gift that people have to question things. Yeah. Because everyone else is so busy conforming to fit in and do life and not have anyone look at them. But then there's people who it's intrinsically in their minds and hearts to just say, why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to wear that? Why do I have to think that? We need those people.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Andreas. I believe Daddy gave me autism for a purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Chrissy says, I don't deny that demons are at work sometimes, but we shouldn't jump to that.
Yeah, because Andreas also said, the worst thing I heard is that being mentally ill means you're possessed by demons. Yep.
I was talking with April. If you saw my conversation with her, she's got, what's it called? Epilepsy. Yeah. And for the longest time, it was people were still thinking it was connected to demons.
Yeah.
Like, way too long into modern medicine books, like.
Yes. Yeah.
Or trains of thought, if not written down in print.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, we're meant to be. I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
It was funny that I was like, yeah, I'll drop in and hang out on the live stream for a bit, but I'm pretty tired tonight. And then we got all like deep and on our soapboxes, and now we've been here for almost an hour.
Yeah. Christy says, right. God does not inflict any suffering. He ended that after the flood. Any suffering is a product of the fall of man.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, and it's like that whole thing of like the doctrine of suffering is very difficult and complicated, and it's like,
yeah,
and I'm like,
and I don't even know anymore how literal any of those things are. Like, the story of Adam and Eve has been twisted into a certain box.
Yeah, and like
that it was never intended to by the original writers.
Yeah,
like.
Is capable of interceding or redeeming our testimony for goodness. And what he does one versus another is beyond our comprehension. Yes. Yeah, that's like, because, well, I'm like, there is no way we can have the full picture of what's going on. Like, if we did, well, then there would be no reason for God. It's like, oh, wow, Andreas actually knew someone where they tried to exorcise his epilepsy. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing that I always hold on to, is just the whole thing of like, that it's not over yet. It's like, God works with everything eventually. We don't know when that's gonna happen.
It's like when people, grandma fell down and I just something in me just made me turn around and go, and I found her outside, and I wasn't even gonna come back that weekend. So it's a miracle. God saved her. And then what about the grandma that stayed outside for 3 days and froze? Like, God didn't care about her? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But yeah, but it's like, it's because one of those is like,
I don't like hearing miracle stories anymore.
yeah, it's very very difficult of like knowing that, and it really is uh, a thing of, yeah, there is like, if there was a way that we could fully understand and explain what's going on, we would have done that by now.
But I feel so much better, like, just being able to say, nope, don't like that, don't understand, don't care. Because before I just felt like, but I have to say, but God's got everything under control. So, la la la, I'm happy and I trust Him. Like, I don't have to say that anymore.
Yeah. Wasn't it? I think it was Shane Willard who talked about having a folder on his computer that was just the verses that he doesn't get, and that he just doesn't like, and he's like, the Bible verses that just makes him go, "What the heck, God?" And he keeps them there, and then every now and then he opens up the folder, looks at, so like, picks out a verse, turns it over a couple times, sends it out to like his, like, the people that he works with. It's like, does anyone have any idea what the deal is with this? And then most of the time, everyone goes, "No, sorry," and he just puts it back in the folder. It's like, I'll try again next year. And it's like, and he's like, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to go, I don't like this verse. I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna check in on it occasionally to see if it makes any more sense, and if it doesn't, okay, I'm just gonna leave it there and do deal with all the stuff that I can actually work like that I can actually work with.
I couldn't ever go back to pretending. Before, it didn't feel like pretending. Before, I was like, no, I'm never gonna be like that. I'm always gonna be perfectly full of faith and light and la 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 la.
Yeah.
But it feels really freeing to just be like, I don't even know. And some days I believe, and some days I don't.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's also like throughout church history, like that is also like, so many heroes of the faith are like, yeah, that was like, that like said that was an important part of, like, no, you need to have days where you're like, I have no clue what I actually believe or if any of this makes sense. And like, if you are able to eventually get through that to a place where it starts making sense again, like, that is the strongest faith you can have. But then it's okay that, like, but then you have to accept that then there is the risk that you might never get to that point, and that has to be okay. Yeah. Because if it's not okay to accept that you could lose your faith, then you are not actually doing anything to keep it.
Because it's like going back to the conformity thing. Like, the giving off the appearance of believing is more important than actually believing.
Yeah. The long what is that? The long dark time of the
long dark night of the soul.
Long dark night of the soul. Yeah, I keep mixing that up because Douglas Adams wrote a book called The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul. So that's what my brain wanted to say. I was like, no, that's a different. Like, no, that's the sequel to Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. That's a different thing.
There.
Let's see now.
Okay, I'm going back to Kirsty's comments back up here. I know you can relate with my miscarriage. It's awful, and God never wanted it, but it happened, and He has done incredible things with that testimony. He put others in my life to strengthen my faith at that time, and later in my healing, I was able to provide a similar comfort, commiseration with others. I think many of us have that at one point or another. We can't just parrot back beliefs. That's not faith. We need to digest it, and hopefully we have a good guidance along the way.
Yeah.
I like that. And today it says there's no contradiction between faith and doubts.
Yeah.
Like, if faith didn't have any doubt, it wouldn't be faith, it would be wisdom.
Yeah.
Or
knowledge.
Or knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always saying, utan tvivel är man inte riktigt klok.
Doubt, no, someone's not really smart.
Yeah, without a doubt, you're not
all that smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get really good at parroting things when you're a people pleaser whose livelihood is dependent upon their generosity of others.
Sarah says, I was driving so I couldn't chat, but could you expound more on what you mean by not liking miracle stories?
I mean, I do like them, but I don't, because it's just not, it just makes me angry, and it's just not fair to the people that don't get them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that miscarriage didn't happen. That baby was safe, but that one wasn't. It just seems like this cruel flick of the coin of who gets help and who doesn't.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's like, because, yeah, it's very arbitrary. And then it's just that, like, of course, I believe that it is handled by the best possible arbiter, but it's still arbitrary, and that is rough, because by definition we have no access to the decision-making process.
It just like, if God was all powerful, then why couldn't everybody get saved, and why would children have to suffer cancer, and people have to suffer miscarriages and all these things? And it's like, there's evil in the world, there's free will. I'm just so sick of those answers. I've heard them all, I've given them all.
Yeah.
There's nothing new that anybody can say to me about all of this stuff. I was a parrot for many, many years.
Yeah, but when I say those things, I have picked at those things for a long time. When I say them, it isn't just because other people said it. It's because I have tried to come up with a better, like, I have tried in my human wisdom to come up with a better system, and I have failed to do so. And so then I have to trust that because there isn't a world, like, if there was no pain and suffering and things like that, then it would be then we wouldn't be humans. Like, so many things have been motivated by those, like, have been created out of those dark things, that is like that they define the human experience. I mean, which you can tell that, like, according to the Bible, they were apparently intended to define the human experience, because when God wanted to have the human experience, he chose to be a refugee child,
a brown refugee child.
Yes, who eventually got murdered. So it's like that was. So I saw a comic where there was like, wait, what if God thinks that the world is okay because his baseline idea of what a human experience is being persecuted and murdered? Like, because that was how he experienced humanity. I don't believe that, of course. So
if you're not
but
murdered,
that
you're
was
doing better than Jesus.
Yeah. It's like what? Like, life isn't that bad. But yeah.
Sarah says, I feel like miracles can come out of tragedies, though. So you're coming at it from a dogmatic perspective. It is so gut-wrenching to try to justify the suffering of the innocent. I will give you that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm coming at it from a everything sucks perspective. Okay, not really, but like going back to it feels like everything is randomly. Feels like the system has been in place of empire run by religion and billionaires running the show and anyone who's not in that 0.01% just getting mashed in the gears, and that's all life is.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the thing is, if you read, like, that's what I see when I read the Bible. Like, I am not surprised at all of all the shortcomings of both the church and society, because if you read any part of history or the Bible, that's like, oh yeah, no, that absolutely same things happen there. Like, I recently, like, read through, like, did a study of, I think it was Second Chronicles, and it's just like everywhere all the time. It's just like, why are they making the mistakes? Like, why are these people making the exact same mistakes that people are making today? Like, what's the deal with that? Why have we not learned anything in the last 3,000 years? Uh, That's an interesting thing. If God only gave miracles to his people, we would never be able to relate with anyone who doesn't know him. Yeah, huh. Yes, if the people who pray always got miracles and the people who don't never did.
Yeah.
That would
I definitely didn't mean for like, oh, only people that follow Jesus should get miracles.
Yeah, no.
That's absolutely like my heart always goes back to the people who, like the FLDS people, they were completely indoctrinated that this was what their heavenly Father wanted, was for them to be raped from age 13. Like, and so for the people like that, their brains are so tarnished against God.
Yeah.
Why would they ever trust any God with that name?
Yeah.
So it's not like God. I really cannot imagine God saying, because you won't worship me, because my name was poisoned against you, you're going to hell. You're never getting your prayers answered.
Yeah.
I would want nothing to do with a butthole God like that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I have to believe that God has contingency plans. Like, it seems absolutely ridiculous to think that he wouldn't have um, set a system up for those situations. Like, if because he would have been aware that those situations would arise. So then, yeah, if he didn't have a way forward and out of that, then that would be wrong. Absolutely. So yeah, I absolutely do believe that God can redeem those things, and like in one way or another. Yeah. And there says, yeah, he's seen miracles happening to Muslims, and he also points out that in the biblical law, rape is one of the worst crimes. Yep.
Yeah. Just, my church has been podcast conversations with people who have.
I mean, you have been attending online church too.
Yeah. But the real church for me has been these conversations with people like the Geek Preacher, Shane Claiborne, Zach Hunt,
yeah,
the Naked Pastor. Those conversations have really helped me to hold on to something.
Yeah.
In Pastor Jeff.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole thing that, as I said, like, we need a new we need it. Well, we are due for a new set of reformers, and I think they like at least some of those names could be counted into that. They are at least uh, an aspect of the Reformation that the church needs right now. Also, just to be transparent, I won't take offense to anything you say. I know you're thinking out loud and in the process of analyzing your faith.
Yeah.
Did me and Sarah present Journey onto you guys? I don't know.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I don't know. Just trying to think.
But yeah,
just the whole thing of a God that demands to be worshipped, or he won't save people from eternal torture.
Yeah.
Can't believe in that anymore.
Yeah, which that was never what I believed. Like that was like I've always seen it basically as like God, like, and it's also like, and I might be sliding toward even more permissive than I've been, but even at my most strict interpretation of the gospel, I was always like, no, God is like just standing there with his hand outstretched, like waiting for any excuse to grab us. If but not doing so until we give him permission. But he will take any anything from us that even implies his our permission for him to intervene. It's that's how I see him. It's
just waiting for the slightest bit of okay, I'll take your help.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, cool, we got this now. A lot of Christians treat God like a one-armed bandit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Journey is a safe haven for people who don't feel like they belong in traditional church context.
It's kind of funny that Journeys is the name of the group that I go to on Saturdays on Zoom group.
Oh, yeah, which is also
exactly the same. Yeah. People, lots of different aspects of life, of feeling like they don't fit, not sure what they believe, or sure what they believe, but just want to have that feeling of community.
I was surprised the time I came in and saw the window on the. It's like, huh. Most of these people are middle-aged and up, which was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the younger people there. If this one person K isn't there.
Yeah.
Sarah says, that's why I struggle with the concept of God that seems to dominate popular Christianity. Not some disembodied being, but the peace that passes all understanding. To me, in that stillness is where God is.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel close to God sometimes in walking in nature, listening to birds, noticing light shining through a leaf.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think that's important, because that's also something that the Bible lifts up as even people who have never heard a line of scripture, those experiences can bring anyone close to God, no matter if you've ever heard his name or not.
Yeah.
And it's and that's so important. I'm presuming after saying that, the whole thing of not taking offense, because even when we're saying stuff that she doesn't agree with, it's doesn't offend her, which is good. And I know that all the beliefs I have are part of my own personal spiritual journey. Nobody else in the world has had the same experiences, relationships as me in the sequence that they occurred.
Yeah. I was worried for so long about offending people that it's great that you feel that way and are still here. If you didn't, and then bye.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Like, you don't have, if people don't agree, they don't have to be here, because I don't want to just beat around the bush anymore.
yeah, but it's great that
It's
people are willing to.
more Christians should be like you and be willing to just say, okay, that's not where I am at, but I still love you and accept you.
Yeah, that should that is, but yeah. Jesus was never afraid to offend people.
Yeah.
Like
Not like I'm equating myself with Jesus.
no, but it's still like, but that is like, I feel like that is. Well, no, I was gonna say that that's an aspect that people, but no. Wait, the evangelical church is often very offensive. It's just, that it's offensive to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was offensive to authority figures. The evangelical church is unfortunately very often an offensive authority figure.
Yeah.
Which is a large part of the problem.
And the blood on their hands of queer and I lost the word again. Not the word autistic, but neurodivergent.
Yeah.
The blood they have on their hands of autistic and neurodivergent people is.
Yeah, and so many people.
Because I say them together because it's the same kind of techniques used, like of a conversion therapy, of just mask who you are, just hide your stims, just be more masculine, be more feminine, and the rest will follow. You'll be attracted to the right gender. You will fit in, and no one will know that you're different.
They said one of the good things about getting older is you stop bothering.
Yeah.
Like, I am not very denominational. Yeah.
I'm turning 36 in a few weeks. I'm having even less F's to give.
Yeah. And I don't have to shut people. Pursuit of Momming says, I don't have to shut people up just because they don't agree with me. If it's important enough, I'm not going to do that by shutting them out. Also, it's not always going to be my influence. And that brings us back to sort of like one of the places where we started this was Sarah Veazey asking the whole thing about what to do when people, when you're dealing with like evangelicals who do not have that thing. Yes, relationships are more important unless they're toxic. Yes, because that was where we started. Is that sometimes you have to draw a line in the sand and say, like, if you cannot handle who I am, but insist on trying to make me be who you expect me to be, I cannot exist in that place anymore. Like, that's just like that. Sometimes you get to the point where that is no longer an option.
Like, I don't care if I disappoint you about not believing exactly the same way I did before. Like, I decided that the marginalized people are more important than your thoughts about me. Yeah.
And that's something that I absolutely think Jesus would agree with.
Absolutely. Did you see the post I shared from the Naked Pastor on Facebook?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm going to read it and describe it real quick, because it fits exactly here. Come on. So it's a group of white sheep all facing a rainbow sheep, and one of them is pointing behind them at the ones behind him, saying, I would come out and support you publicly, but I've got all these other relationships to consider.
Yeah. Which that was a struggle that we had for a while.
Long time.
And wait, we can actually I can put it on screen actually.
Oh, cool.
Because we have, let me check. Wait, I'm gonna, there we go. There it is.
Can you make it a teach bigger? Oh, you can zoom in from the page, right?
Yeah, well, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you already read it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the one.
Yeah. There were some comments about echo chamber.
Or where's that tab?
There it is. For me, Andrea says Me and different opinions are enriching my life. Yeah. And Chrissy says, yes, Andres. Living in an echo chamber doesn't enrich anyone. Jalen. I believe that's Jalen.
Yes, she put her name on
the right. I didn't finish reading that. Congrats on the pregnancy. Love you guys. Yay. Thank you.
Yay.
Hugs. Okay, it's happening in a few months. We still don't have 5-ish months, huh?
Yeah, it's what is it now? Well, yeah, 4.5.
4.5 months. If anybody's got a car that can fit 5 people in it, an extra
car... 5.5. Sorry, I'm miscounting in my head.
If anybody's got an extra car that can fit 5 people that they don't need anymore, we'll take it off your hands.
Yes. Our car is getting tight.
Yeah. Ooh, hey Jalen, you want to see my bum? Jalen as a name works for a boy or a girl. Jalen.
We had talked about maybe going for a more androgynous name than what we did with the girls. We'll see. Right now, it
looks enormous on the screen there. Does it really look that big?
Right now, we're calling the baby Pickle.
Pickle. Yeah, I have a feeling that this pickle is going to be bigger when it's born than both of the girls put together.
Yes. Wow. Do you remember when I was like, I said I was just going to sit in on the live stream for a little bit, and now I've been here almost an hour? That was half an hour ago.
Whoa. I guess we could probably call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep hanging out, you can, but I'm gonna...
I am getting a bit sleepy.
How big were the girls at birth?
They were 3-pounders.
Yeah,
1,400 and 1,600
grams. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They were...
8
It
weeks.
was weird. They were like a couple weeks old when we were living in the we were living at the pediatric department of the hospital.
The NICU apartment.
Yeah, which wasn't it's a small hospital, so they don't really have a full NICU. It's just part of the children's wing. But then another baby was brought down there because he had low blood sugar at birth because he was massive. So this one newborn baby was bigger than our 2 3-week-old babies were together.
He was 3 times their size.
I think he was 5 kilograms.
Yeah.
Which is and
or
they
6.
were. Yeah.
No, 6 kilograms wouldn't be possible, would it?
I don't know.
Anyway.
No, I think 6 kilograms is but that's sort of the.
I'm just gonna Google that real quick, and you can keep talking.
Yeah.
13. Oh gosh. So anyway.
Yeah. So that was just nuts. How many weeks we had to? They were
32 on the dot.
Oh, whoa. So apparently Gail looked up world record for heaviest baby, 10 kilograms.
Okay, I gotta Google that.
What is
10 kilograms in pounds? 22 pounds?
Wait. Let's just Google heaviest babies.
22 pounds?
Heaviest.
That's how much I weighed in 5th grade. Just kidding, I don't know, but 22?
Yep. The heaviest baby born to a healthy mother was a boy weighing 10.2 kilograms, 22 pounds, 8 ounces.
That kid was born with a briefcase.
Wow. Yep. So that's a thing.
It would have to be a C-section. Wow, 5 kilos. And as long as a 3-month-old, that's what... Andres' neighbor's son.
Yep. Anyway, wow.
That took a turn.
This is why I love our live streams.
Yes.
Because you have no idea. Like, it's funny that you can come in and we can be talking just like random pleasantries or like TV shows we like. Like then you like get distracted, do something else for 10 minutes, come back and we're talking like deep theology or like economic or financial politics. And then and then you go away for 10 minutes and we come back and then we're talking world's heaviest babies. Like,
oh gosh.
That kid was born and went straight to college.
Straight to college. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
It's hard to go to college if you don't even have $200.
It's true, especially in America.
Anyway, good night.
Good night.
Or whatever time it is where you're watching.
It's bedtime somewhere.
It's always bedtime somewhere.
It's always. I will see if anybody else has something entertaining to say. Entertain me! Let's Google some more statistics of crazy things. Unless people want to go. If people want to go, that's cool. That's cool. If everybody wants to go, we should chat, Jaylene. Oh, I wanted to say before that, she said she likes the idea of androgynous names. I like the idea too, but it's just really hard to think of any kind of names like that I actually like. So we're having fun trying to figure something out that we both love that just feels right. And maybe on the 12th of July, we'll find out if it's a boy or a girl. Okay, Sarah needs to finish up dinner. Hugs. I really appreciate the chat too. I think, yes. Yeah, it seems like a good time to call it a day. Oh, but first, Pursuit of Mom, Chrissy says, biggest birth at my birth center was 13 pounds. Vaginal, non-medicated. I told my nurse, whatever, and everything, give me the drugs. I want all the drugs. You did not get extra points for suffering. Alrighty. Andreas is sleepy too. I mean, we might find out. We will see if the child will cooperate. Exactly 1 month before your birthday. Jay says, yes, all the drugs! Julie, today's name suggestion by me. Okay, well then, I will just give hugs. Thank you for hanging out. It was so fun and freeing. Like, just being able to talk and know I'm not being judged. I'm just being heard and hearing your thoughts and things too. I just really appreciate it and enjoy it, and I appreciate you. You're awesome. And bye.